We played a video on the last show of the Colorado Bigfoot. There was video going around of this creature walking on a hillside, and people on a train were filming this majestic beast walking to the screen, and it looked pretty good. I mean, it was definitely a humanoid figure moving, and I told Joe, I want to believe. I'm just
amazed you guys spent as much time as you did covering it.
Well, it was actually good footage. You know,
it was. No, I would like to clarify. It was high quality footage. It was not good footage.
Okay, it's high quality footage.
It was a dude in a cheap monkey suit.
Well, it was a dude in a monkey suit. That's what we're learning today.
It had to be a man in a monkey suit,
and that's what we're learning. So, mystery of eerie Bigfoot sighting explained after a couple filmed legendary creature from the window of a train. So the video of the supposed Bigfoot was captured in a remote southeast Colorado town, or in southeast Colorado of the San Juan National Forest. Directly in the middle of the forest is the town of Silverton, where Sasquatch Expedition Campers is located. Weird. The company, named after the legendary Bigfoot, builds custom campers and claims it embodies the spirit of Sasquatch. I don't know what that means. What does it mean to embody the spirit of Sasquatch?
Well, they like to do business the same way that Sasquatch would. So there's only a couple of them. They're hard to find. Anytime you do see them, it's fleeting and blurry, and good luck ever getting your down payment back.
Oh, hold on. Yeah, I thought I brought this up on screen. Let me,
You're showing nothing.
I'm showing jack nothing. Bring this up on screen. Here we go. I have fixed. So yeah, the company builds custom campers and claims to embody the spirit of Sasquatch. So much so that their employees regularly dress up in a Bigfoot costume. Their website also features pictures of Bigfoot costumes with some indicative words about the creature. Like those in search of the legendary Sasquatch, we believe in searching for something more. We're building a community of believers to create a supportive and inclusive space for adventure seekers, because sharing experiences with others makes the journey and destination that much more rewarding. So they're going out. So by you going out there and creating hoaxes and spinning people up, that is creating an inclusive space. They didn't come out. They were just trying to create a viral video campaign to advertise their BS company.
It worked. We're talking about it.
It did work, but when they are if you're purposely going out and say, I love UFOs so much, that I want to create UFO hoaxes to promote my business, it seems like you're not really embodying the spirit of Bigfoot if you're going out there and creating Bigfoot hoaxes. Not unless they're claiming Bigfoot then hoaxes its own sightings to promote itself. Like Bigfoot only makes appearances to promote his businesses. Is that what they're suggesting here?
Well, is that too impossible to think that Bigfoot over the years is quite sophisticated and more intelligent than we give him credit for, and he's been hiring people to dress in monkey suits to go out and hoax his own sightings?
Maybe. Well, what business is he promoting?
Bigfoot adventure tours?
Yeah, I guess so. You do wind up going on an adventure every time you go look for him.
By the way, I do have an image up here. They apparently, this RV place, they posted a thing on Facebook, kind of egging people on a little more.
And apparently they force their employees to wear Bigfoot costumes to work.
Only the new guy.
And I have a picture right here. They forced their employees to sit down at 3D printers wearing giant big feet as they slosh around the company grounds. I'm seeing this guy, and they forced him to wear Bigfoot gloves. I guess their company uniform.
We had a story about it. Was it about a year ago? 2 years ago? About a Russian company doing the same thing. They made a guy dress up as Bigfoot for tourism.
Yeah, for tourism. Yeah, that was to promote the community and hope promote tourism out there. So they hired a big guy, the local big guy, threw a suit at him, said, get out there in the woods and start wrestling branches and making noise so people will come out and try to shoot you.
I do want to say the stuff these guys make, and I'll put the link into Carrot Shop for you. They're expedition kind of travel trailers, camping trailers. This would be right up Joe's alley, the kind of thing he's always talking about doing.
Yeah.
These are pretty slick.
Oh, wow. These are pretty hardcore. I mean, they look very well built. They looks like well constructed, made out of metal, nice coloring. I'd buy one of these things.
Are they good for surviving a Bigfoot attack? Because big feets like to throw big feet.
Yeah, they like to throw rocks and sometimes
logs. They throw logs at you.
They throw logs at you. It looks like they could sustain. They can endure quite a bit of pounding. They look well built. Just a viral marketing campaign that, oh my God, these campers, like the big boy here, starting at $50,000. This is for rich people.
Bigfoot has a lot of money.
Giving me a knobber.
These are $50,000 to buy one of these trailers. My God. So these are a bunch of what? You got a bunch of rich pricks out there.
No, they're probably not, but they're selling them to the rich people.
But then they're marketing not to, like, they're trying to get a viral marketing campaign going, which really targets people like me who don't have $60,000 to buy one of these campers here.
Look, Mike, just because you're too poor to appreciate their marketing campaign doesn't mean that it wasn't successful.
Yeah, okay.
You should be inspired by Bigfoot and go get more money.
That's where you make the money.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, there is that. So this is an update. I was fooled again. They fooled me, Jerry.
So as whether we think it's a little a little cheap to do this sort of marketing campaign, just walk out there in front of a train and wave at people.
He didn't even wave. He just sat there on the ground.
He sat there and took a crap.
It would have been better if it was waving or twerking out there. Like that Bigfoot's twerking out there.
Or throwing logs at the train.
Now, yeah, take it up a notch.
That steel beast is coming near me again. That's how Bigfoot talks. We are talking about it. We are giving them free advertising. We are looking at their website. We are appreciating their products. So I guess job well done. For the $30 expense of someone to buy a monkey suit and go out there and stand there.
But they just told the guy in his lunch break, go out there and walk around a little bit. That's all he did. They just told an employee to go out there, promote the business. I guess this is how you have to promote a podcast. I got to go out there and dance around in a monkey suit to promote my podcast.
In front of trains one at a time.
Yeah, I'll do some train dodging. Play chicken with the train. That'll make some headlines.
Two more listeners on our march to 4 million.
Mm-hmm. All right, we'll move on here. Just want to do an update there, just to clear the air.
Baby got back.
It's just non sequitur there.
Yeah, and baby got back. Yeah.
That's totally bonkers.
It is totally bonkers. All right, I'm going to talk about time travel for a little bit. I've been reading a couple different books on time travel and people who have made predictions of the future, and people who have claimed to have visited the future and returned to tell the tale about what they learned about the future. Now, these are very difficult to prove, obviously. A lot of these time travel experiences are a transfer of consciousness to the future, and the report back is that person's experience pretty much as like a different person in the future. But there are certain similarities between these different accounts, and I'll try to go over these two main cases here. So the first one when it comes to time travel. Involves a guy named Alan Bleek. That's Bielek. Now, this guy was involved with the Montauk Project. Are you familiar with the Montauk Project, Gretchen?
Sure, that's where they sent that destroyer back in time. No, wait, that was Philadelphia experiment.
It's closely the Montauk experiment closely affiliated with the Philadelphia experiment. So the Montauk Project involves multiple different theories and experiments. So the Montauk, just a brief rundown. They did time travel and mind control experiments. One of the claims is that the Montauk Project is where they had the U.S. government conducted various kind of projects to open up gates to different times, and also develop different types of mind control techniques. They also experimented with the Philadelphia technology, which is the Philadelphia experiment, which is to use electromagnetism to try to conceal try to conceal battleships, to make a cloaked battleship, but they wound up sending that battleship into a different dimension or sending it through time, and it was a failure when it came to invisibility. But they didn't make it go through a portal or a different dimension. So it was a success in that way. And the Montauk experiment took what they learned from the Philadelphia experiment and just kind of capitalized on it.
And the Philadelphia experiment also melted people into the decks. So
yeah, they got fused. Like they almost got phased between decks. So they phased through matter, and then when they came out of that time portal thing, if your foot was stuck in a bulkhead, well, that's where it stayed. Okay,
you're there now. That's where you live.
And there's also claims with the Montauk Project of the Montauk children, which claims that there are highly unethical experiments on children, using them in these experiments against their will. And this includes also using different radio frequencies to influence nearby towns in order to influence the mood of that town. So if they ramped up certain signals that were being shot over there, they could create a lot more fights. They could create a lot more aggressive personalities in the people of that that town, and so more fights would break out. And so they would do all these different kinds of experiments, supposedly, at the Montauk Project. And this guy, Alan Beek, was one of the members involved at the Montauk Project. And so he had Alan here. He has memories of these events being catapulted through time. They were initially suppressed, but they later resurfaced under hypnosis. He asserts that in addition to his time travel experiences and his experiences at Montauk, that he's had multiple different personalities and has gone through extensive therapy to recover these memories. So keep that in mind. Okay. But Alan claimed that he traveled to the year 2137 by stepping through a time portal. So as he stepped through this time portal, next thing he knew, he was waking up in some sort of high-tech hospital. He was on the bed, and he looked around, and he's like, whoa, this is pretty advanced tech around me. It turns out, as he stepped through the time portal, he had passed out on the road somewhere. He was covered in radiation burns. Some people of the year 2137 found him on the road, and they took him to the hospital for him to be treated. And as Alan was being treated, he noticed that the medical devices of that time period that the medical staff were using used sound vibration and light waves to treat his wounds and illnesses. But he did note that the medical staff they were not surprised to see him. They were just interested to talk with him. Turns out Al stayed in the year 2137 for about a month. And just as he healed, he popped into another time and wound up in 2749.
Good Lord.
Yeah, so this guy was almost quantum leaping, kind of like...
I believe the term is buck rogering.
Is it buck rogering? But quantum leaping...
That's probably an Urban Dictionary. I'm going to look that one up.
But quantum leaping is kind of similar, too. Once you complete your assignment in quantum leaping, you kind of go to a different time period.
In Quantum Leap, did he ever go to the far-flung future, though? I thought it was always correcting the past.
He could only travel within his own lifespan. And I believe there was only one instance in which he traveled to a timeline that was not his. It was much earlier than when he was born. And that was because there was some sort of mix-up with his partner, Al.
Who did everything on a iPhone or something. It made farting noises.
Yeah. So this guy, after he got healed in 2137, he was flung far into the future, 2749. And he stayed in the 28th century much longer, about 2 years. He noticed that in the 28th century, there were far fewer people around. He noticed that while there was a lot of land, a lot of open land, there were just a significantly fewer people than he remembered. And as he talked to people, he came to discover that the entire population of Earth in the 28th century was right around 300 million people.
Uh-oh.
And his host explained that it was kept that way on purpose. In the 28th century, there was no war, there were plenty of resources for everyone, and there were no more borders. There were no more nation states at all. And that the people of this time discovered sometime in the past that they were just so fed up with politics and that the leaders that sometime in the 26th century, they created what they called a synthetic computer that ran the entire world and controlled every function of the planet.
Never good. This is not going to end well.
This is what he said happened in the 26th century, and that for the past 200 years, everything's been going pretty good. Now, he did note that this was not some sort, at least to what he viewed, it was not some sort of dystopian future where most of the books and science fiction that we come across when it comes to an IA takeover of humanity, it becomes very nightmarish and dystopian. He didn't say that. Al said, no, everything here seems to work pretty good, and that everyone seemed happy, and it was a veritable utopia as far as he could see, and that everyone was given an allotment of credits so they could use those credits every month to buy manufactured goods, and everything was taken care of. The only people that were really working there were a handful of engineers that were on standby in case the big computer that ran the entire world broke down. So those are the only ones with any real skills left, just in case that synthetic computer broke down.
Isn't this pretty similar to H.G. Wells' Time Machine storyline?
Well, I think H.G. Wells went so far in the future. He went millions of years in the future, and he discovered the people who lived in the surface and then below the surface. And the below the surface, like the Morlocks, they had, I think, advanced tech, and they would only come up to feed on surface people.
Yeah, but didn't they? I'm just wondering, more like the worshiping the computer sort of thing, and it's making all decisions for you.
I think it has a lot to like the list. This story has a lot to do with like Twilight Zone kind of shows that I've seen. Twilight Zone episodes.
Yeah, there was one. There's a Twilight Zone, and there was a. I want to say there was like one of the 27 Planet of the Apes movies where they were worshiping a computer. It There was also the one. What was the Boy and His Dog with
Boy and His Dog? Yeah,
with Don Johnson and a talking dog. For anyone who wants to go dig up that weird movie,
Don Johnson was in that.
Wasn't that Don Johnson?
I don't know.
I'm gonna look it up.
I'll give people a heads up. I might have to let my little dog. My little dog is whining upstairs, so I might have to let him out at a certain point in time. I'm hoping
Boy and His Dog, Don Johnson.
A man in his whining puppy upstairs. That's what I'm talking about. They have a movie about that? Probably not.
They do. There was the sequel to Boy and His Dog was Man and Puppy.
Man and Puppy, and I took him out before the show. Just so I could make sure that, he was taken care of and he was all settled. But no, I get a half hour into doing the show and he's whining upstairs. So we'll see. I might just have to let him go. Take a crap on the floor. I'll clean it up later.
Oy.
I tell that to all my guests who stay over.
It's what you have printed on your welcome mat.
Yeah. You got to take a crap doing on the floor. I'll clean it up later.
There's newspaper on the floor. If you figure it out.
Well, I mean, and that was it. That's it for the time travel trip.
Well, what happened? Did he come back safely?
He came back. All these memories rushed back to him as he was under hypnosis. And I mean, there's a lot more to it, but I'm just giving you two brief rundowns of time travelers. There's a lot more. Like, there's a book series about the Montauk Project. There's I think there's 3 or 4 different books in the series, and it's been a while since I've read them.
They're from the 90s, if I recall. They're a while ago.
Yeah, I read them in college, and I should own them. They're interesting, if not completely bonkers, but there's something fascinating to them. There's something interesting about them.
That's totally bonkers.
And they've been, the Montauk experiments have been used basically as a leaping off point for Stranger Things, that Netflix TV show. I think everyone knows that.
Well, Stranger Things is based on an amalgam of general kind of, the secret government experiments in the labs and all that stuff. And that's a common trope. I mean, Stephen King based a lot of his stuff on that. So,
Right. All right. One more time travel experience. And this one is a bit of a doozy. All right, this one is of a time traveler, supposed time traveler. His name is Paul Dinich. He was a Swiss teacher. Now, Paul's alleged time travel experience is based on claims that he made in his diary after being in a years-long coma, during which that coma he experienced vivid and prolonged dreams. I'm doing quote or dreams of being transported to the future, or his his consciousness being transported to the future. So he during his coma, he's transported to the future, came back, and wrote this experience down in his diary. And you can purchase his book if you search for Paul Dinich. It is pretty extensive. I'm still digging through a good chunk of it because there's a lot more details than what I can provide in this synopsis. So in 1921, Paul, he fell into a coma, and he remained that way for a period of a year. During this time, he claimed to experience incredibly vivid and detailed visions of an alternate reality that he later recorded in his diary. Paul asserted that in his dream, he was transported to the year 3906, where his consciousness inhabited the body of another man named Andrew Northman. At first, this scared Paul, but everyone he ran into in the year 3906 seemed to understand what had happened. Paul explained his situation to some people, and they took him to a panel of experts who deduced that he had gone through a completely spontaneous temporal slip. These experts knew about these time slips, but they didn't know how to send them back. So Paul tried to make the best of a bad situation and tried to learn as much as he could about the future while fielding questions from historians who were eager to learn about his life in the 1920s. Paul learned of terror attacks that would plague the early 21st century that led to the formation of a one-world government. This authoritarian one-world government superstate ended all terror cells and ushered in an era of world peace. This period of world peace allowed for intense learning and produced breakthrough technology. In the 22nd century, he learned, scientists discovered how to manipulate gravity. This led to the creation of the field gate, which allowed people to walk through gravitational gateways that allowed them to emerge vast distances away. These gateways linked Earth to Mars, leading to the colonization of Mars in 2204. So they're able to create this bridge there and start shoving people through to go colonize Mars. Well, in 2234, explorers on Mars accidentally released a super virus that had been laying dormant for eons.
Now they've done it.
This nearly wiped out the Martian colony. Mars at that time was then quarantined and the field gate was shut down. The Martian colony never really recovered after that super virus. So it's like, okay, big mistake, leave it alone. We're never going to Mars again. Later, this field technology was used to discover intelligent alien civilizations. When they opened up a gate to this new alien civilization, those aliens thought that they were alone in the universe and were fairly shocked when curious humans popped through the field gate to say hello. But they seemed friendly enough. Towards the end of the 23rd century, there had been advancements in genetic manipulation and gave rise to widespread transhumanism. After about a year in the future, Paul found himself opening his eyes, lying on a hospital bed in 1921, coming out of his coma.
He made it back.
The only reason that anybody knows about these time travel experiences that Paul had is because he wrote it down in his diary, and on his deathbed, he gave his diary to one of his students who he trusted, and his student took it and decided to publish it long after Paul had died. And it's very detailed. There's a lot of different elements about the future and technology. It is very elaborate. It could be just the fantastical creations of a fiction writer, or it could be genuine memories that he had of this alternate reality, alternate timeline. And that's kind of how Philip K. Dick wrote a lot of his stuff too. Philip K. Dick said he wrote about memories and experiences he had in different timelines. He didn't view what he was writing as fiction, only as memories from alternate realities that he experienced. It's possible this guy, Paul, felt the exact same way.
Well, how long was he in his coma?
A year. One year.
1 year. That's a long time to have your mind just kind of going loose there. So
yeah,
he would definitely come back with some interesting experiences to write about.
Yeah, I'd like to know more about people in comas and what they dream about, or if they dream about anything at all. What are their memories from their coma, if they have any? Or is it just like you go into a coma and the next thing you know, you are popping out of it? Is it common to have memories?
They dream about the Oscar Mayer Wienermobile.
That'd be kind of boring.
Mm-hmm.
The same Oscar Mayer Wienermobile over and over and over again.
What if you were dreaming that you were driving it? You were exploring the country.
That's fun.
One wiener at a time.
I like that. That's fun. Just passing out wieners to everyone. Couldn't do that in the future. You couldn't do that in the year 3906 to kind of spruce it up a little bit. Probably not.
Well, if it's a guy from the 1920s, imagine him trying to describe that vehicle.
Yeah. Good brakes in that thing.
Stops quick when a kid runs out in the street to get a wiener.